What is up, crew? It is your girl by Felicia, and today I'm here to show you all how to make a delicious Cajun chicken pasta. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on your post notification bell so that way you never miss any posts from me. Go ahead and leave a comment down below letting me know if you're going to use this recipe or if you have used it, and also leave a comment letting me know what you would like to see me make in the future. But let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So let's go ahead and jump into these ingredients that we're going to be using here today. I am using 2 chicken breasts. I'm also going to be using, for the chicken, 1 tablespoon of creole seasoning, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of paprika, and 1 teaspoon of parsley. For the sauce, I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of butter, a half of teaspoon of minced garlic, a half a cup of heavy cream, and a half a cup of whole milk. I'm going to use 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, a half a teaspoon of creole seasoning, Cajun seasoning, and then I'm going to use 1/4 teaspoon of oregano and parsley, a half a cup of Parmesan cheese, and 1/3 cup of pepper jack cheese. And furthermore, for the pasta itself, I'm only going to use a half a box of fettuccine pasta with 1 teaspoon of creole seasoning, 1 teaspoon of olive oil, and also I am going to use a half of a teaspoon of salt to taste. So I'm going to go ahead and link all of that in the description below, so that way you can follow along when you're making this delicious recipe, or if you're going to the store to shop for all of the ingredients, you will be able to have them listed below and know the exact measurements. Now that we have all of our ingredients, the first thing that we're going to do to kick off this delicious meal is start our pasta water. So to a pot, I went ahead and added enough water to boil the pasta in. And then I went ahead and added 1 teaspoon of olive oil. If you have vegetable oil, that's fine. Just whatever you have at hand. For the seasonings, again, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of creole seasoning, and I'm adding a half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to just mix this up on a high heat. I'm going to cover it with the lid and go ahead and bring that to a boil. So I'll go ahead and cover it with the lid now at this point, and we'll jump into the next thing. As we wait for the pasta water to come to a boil, we're going to go ahead and jump into stirring all of our seasonings together that we're using for the chicken. So I am using a whisk at this moment, but in the video, you're going to see me switch over to a fork, and that's just in case you all don't have a small whisk to use. Just want to let you know you can use a fork. But the seasonings that I'm whisking together is the 1 tablespoon of creole seasoning, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, black pepper, paprika, and dry parsley. So I'm going to go ahead and stir that all together. And then I'm going to take my seasoning and sprinkle it over the 2 chicken breasts that I cut here. Now, the ingredients that I am using is for a serving of 2. You can maybe even do it for a serving of 3. But if you are only making this for just yourself, I would definitely say to cut these seasonings in half. So go ahead and get that all seasoned up on the chicken. And then I'm just going to jump in with my hand and mix it all together. But I'll check back in on the pasta first. All right, now that our pasta water has come to a boil, we're going to go ahead and get ready to add our half box of fettuccine pasta noodles. I went ahead and added 2 handfuls, which was equivalent to a half a box. But again, if you're cooking this for just yourself, just 1 handful should do. You're going to cook your fettuccine noodles on 10 to 12 minutes and just stirring them occasionally as the directions on the box states. Once you have them in there, just go ahead and stir them down. And then I'll check back in with you all once the noodles are done to let you know what's next. So once the noodles are all done, I went ahead and strained them. And I just moved them over to this large bowl. And I did that because I wanted to add 2 tablespoons of butter to the noodles themselves. If you want to do this step, you can. If you want to skip over it, that's fine. But it is strongly recommended, if you are following this recipe to the T, to go ahead and add that butter in. But I am going to go ahead and mix it on up. And then once I have it well mixed and incorporated into the noodles, then I'll go ahead and move this to the side and we can jump over to the chicken so we can proceed with putting everything together. Now to start my chicken, I went ahead and heated the pan up with enough oil at the very bottom to cover. And then I do have it on a high heat. I'm adding my chicken in here and then I'm going to let it cook until golden brown on both sides. It took about 3 to 4 minutes on one side. And then I'll check back in once I get ready to flip it over to the other side. So that way I can show you all what that color is supposed to look like. All right, after 4 minutes, this is what it's looking like on the first side. And now I'm just going to flip it over to finish off for another 3 to 4 minutes on the other side. And once it's done, I'm going to go ahead and just get it taken out. But it looks so beautiful and it tastes delicious once it's all done. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get ready to start removing the chicken. This is what you want it to look like on both sides. And then we're going to jump into the pasta sauce. All right, now that we have all of our chicken removed, we're going to jump into making the Alfredo sauce. So to that same pan that you cooked your chicken in, where all of the flavors are sitting and well rested, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. Once you have that butter added in there, you're just going to go ahead and stir it around and just keep mixing until it starts to melt. And then we're going to go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients. Just a quick tip, fun fact, if you didn't know, if you have butter in a pan with oil, that is always the best thing to do. Because if the butter is in there by itself, it can burn. Oil helps it to keep it from burning. So if you're ever making a different meal with butter, just always add a little bit of olive oil or a little bit of vegetable oil in there to stop it from burning. All right, so I'm just going to let the butter sit here for a little bit, melt a little bit on its own as I get ready to add in my ½ teaspoon of minced garlic. Once I have my minced garlic in there, I'm going to stir that on up. And then after the minced garlic, we're going to add our ½ cup of heavy cream and our ½ cup of whole milk. Now, if you do have half and half at home, you don't have to go out of the house or go to the store and get heavy cream or whole milk if you don't use it. But if you do have the heavy cream and whole milk, a ½ cup of each will do. So go ahead and get that poured on in. And you'll notice that the butter is sitting on top of the milk and the heavy cream, but that's fine. It is going to dissolve. Just make sure you're mixing everything together and incorporating it all. And I am cooking this right now on a high heat, but we are going to turn it down to a low heat and let it simmer when we get ready to add our cheese in there. But as of now, it is fine on a high heat, because the next thing you're going to get ready to add is your seasonings. So again, I'm using 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, a ½ teaspoon of Creole seasoning and Cajun seasoning, and 1/4 teaspoon of both oregano and parsley. For Cajun seasoning, y'all, I did not have any in my cabinet, but I have a quick little trick on how to make it. So if you all want that, let me know and I'll drop it down below for you. And then we're going to let this boil. As you can see, it started a frenzy once the seasoning got added. Now we're going to go ahead and turn that heat down to a low heat, because we're going to get ready to add our Parmesan cheese and our pepper jack. And that's going to be a ½ cup of Parmesan and a 1/3 cup of pepper jack. Keep in mind, all of the ingredients will be listed below with the measurement. So we're going to go ahead and add all of our cheese in there. And I'm going to bring it to a quick little stir And once I have it all stirred up, what I'll do is check back in with you all so you can see what everything is going to look like all together. Now this is what the sauce is looking like. So we're going to go ahead and get the noodles added in there. And I'm just kind of pressing them down into the sauce. I'm adding them with the tongs so that way I'm not pouring them all in there at one time. So go ahead and add them in there with the tongs and then just press them down a little bit, stir it up a little bit. And then once the noodles are added in there, we're practically done. We just got to dress this baby up and then we'll be able to come with the final presentation. But it's going to be so delicious. And just a quick tip, once you have your noodles mixed into your Alfredo sauce, don't serve it right away. Let it rest for about 5 minutes and it's going to taste so much better once you let it rest. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the noodles added in here. I'm going to go ahead and mix them on up and then I'll be back to check in on you all. And here we have it 5 minutes later. I let my noodles rest and then I went ahead and served it up with the chicken. I dressed it up with some Parmesan and some parsley flakes. But thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Peace.